Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the month of March. Can't believe we're already here, but we're in the month of March. So I'm going to be talking right now about the first week from March 1st to March 7th. Now, I want you to understand what I'm doing is I'm giving you the times that are best for doing things based on the transiting planets in the sky currently. So I'm going to go through each and every day where the moon is, and that's the main focal point, because wherever the moon is, this is where I can gauge where all the planets are relative to the moon. And this really does produce the effects of what we're feeling day in to day out throughout the whole month. So that is the importance of the moon in astrology, especially Vedic astrology, which, remember, I'm talking about the Vedic sidereal positions. So I'm sitting here in front of my computer, and what I do is I move it to each day, and I will be telling you what is going to be happening daily, especially for you in your individual lives. Now, I am basing this on Central Standard Time. I am here in Dallas, Texas, and I know a lot of you are all over the world, and I've been gauging where everyone's from, and my goodness, this is global. But it's hard for you to kind of figure out what time the moon changes signs and such based on where you are. So just go ahead and figure that I am Central Standard Time, and Europe is primarily, Central Europe is 7 hours ahead. And going forward to Australia, it is the next day. And you guys are practically, what, about 14 hours? Sydney, maybe the next day. So I want you to go and figure out what I'm talking about, but I can't do it for every single place in the world, unfortunately, but you can gauge it from where you are. So I'm going to be talking about where these planets are transiting each day. Okay, so before I continue on, one thing I do want to remind everyone, if you want this to be calculated for your chart personally, I want you to check out my galactic planner. I know some of you said you're tired of me talking about the galactic planner. Oh my God, if you haven't tried it, you shouldn't say that. This is something I have been working on my whole life to come up with. This has all the planets calculated to your chart, and it will give you predictions each and every day. And it will be delivered into your daily calendar and or your computer. However you like it, you will have the guidance from the stars personally for you. Go to galacticplanner.com. Let's get going. Let me tell you about what we can expect for March, because this is a really tough month. Why do I say that? Well, in March, we have so much going on. First of all, we're going to have Venus retrograde. Venus turns retrograde on March 1st. And then we have Mercury turning retrograde halfway through the month. Then we have a lunar and a solar eclipse. These are monumental, huge events that are happening. So I want you to be prepared. This is not the easiest month. Remember what I say about eclipses. They are so severe. Major things will be happening, such as major earthquakes, such as severe storms and weather. This is what we can expect around the time of eclipses. And this month we have what I call the eclipse season. But let's get going and start talking about each day individually. So March 1st, it's a Saturday. This is a pretty good day because I like where the moon is today. The moon is in Pisces, and it will be conjunct Venus. But also on this day, we have Venus turning retrograde. And that's another event. Venus will be retrograde for about 40 days, beginning on the 1st. And while it's retrograde, Venus rules love and relationships. And what you're going to find happening is people will be really processing how they operate in relationships. And we all need to take a better look at that, because relationships, and I am talking about love and marriage relationships particularly, they are so important in our lives. This is what brings us together, gives us the experience of love. And if you're not in a relationship, then Venus in this sign, especially Venus being in Pisces, which is its exaltation sign, meaning it's stronger, then it's turning retrograde. The whole issue around love will be very, very important. Plus, here's what I think. Venus going retrograde can bring back people from old relationships. Now, if that's something that you don't want to happen, that's fine. But you will be reviewing and looking back to better understand how you have come to where you are today and how to heal relationships for the future. That's what Venus retrograde's about, to review, reanalyze, reassess, and reflect on the past, dealing specifically with marriage and relationships. So that's important for you to recognize and know. So also on the 1st, we will have Mercury is conjunct Rahu. And Mercury is now in Pisces, which is not a good sign for Mercury because Mercury's debilitated there. But being conjunct Rahu, it makes people very, very extreme in their thinking, in their processing. People will be a little bit irrational today. Well, let me just say a lot, because Mercury is almost within a degree conjunct Neptune too. Mercury rules the thinking mind and communications. And with it being with Rahu and Neptune, people aren't thinking rationally. People are being obsessive compulsive with their minds, the way they think, and they're not being realistic either. So get that through your mind, because, well, Neptune is deception, delusion, not seeing things clearly. And Rahu makes things exaggerated and over the top, obsessive and compulsive in behavior. So people are being really kind of irrational and crazy today. That's what I'll say. It's true. So don't put a lot of stock in what people are telling you today. Be very cautious and aware of what is going on. And don't let people sway you with their opinions, especially when they're over the top. Just take it with a grain of salt. And do not be over obsessive compulsive in your thinking yourself, because we have the tendency to do this with Mercury being with Rahu. And here's another thing. Mercury being with Rahu and Neptune can also indicate illness. So there could be a lot going on in the area of disease and just, people coming down with the flu, all sorts of people being sick. The weather is changing radically. It's cold, it's hot, it's crazy. Things are really, really being stirred up. And I see this as a time of problems with health, disease, obsessional compulsive thinking, and irrational thinking, delusions, people believing things that aren't true. There is so much propaganda going on in the world right now. What is going on? People are out of their minds right now with some of the things that they believe in. I've heard some crazy things, let me put it that way. Now, the moon, though, is in Pisces. I like the moon in Pisces. It can be compassionate and healing, and it is going to cross over Venus at some point this day. And that makes people more compassionate, more caring, loving. Now the moon is in the nakshatra called Uttara Bhadrapada. And Uttara Bhadrapada is part of the Bhadrapadas. So we have Rahu in Purva Bhadrapada, but the moon is in Uttara Bhadrapada. Covers most of Pisces except for the last 16 degrees, which will be Revati. But right now, everything in Pisces is in the Bhadrapadas. And what's interesting about this nakshatra is, of course, it deals with endings. Pisces is the last and final sign of the zodiac. But it particularly deals with the funeral cot, is what it says. Purva, which means former, is the front end of the funeral cot. And Uttara, which means ladder, is the last part of the legs of the funeral cot, as it said. And this can deal with death. And I don't like that we're coming into this pattern of eclipses, which cause severe things happening in the world. And this is a month. I want you to lay low. I was trying to think of what's the best days to do things. There's not that many in this month. But one thing is, starting on the 1st, we do have the waxing moon, which means it's increasing in light all the way till we come to the full moon halfway through the month, which I will fill you in with. And with this, you're going to find that the moon, as it is waxing, it's time to do things, to get things done. And to the time that we have the new moon until the time that we have the full moon, which the full moon will be in approximately about 10 days from this point. So it is time to move forward with the things that you want to get complete for the first part of this month, especially this first week. Okay, this first week, it's time to move forward. And don't forget, we have the issue of Mercury going retrograde around mid-month as well. I'm going to fill you in with that. So let's go to March 2nd. Boy, that was a lot for the first, wasn't it? Okay, so March 2nd. Yes, we have Mercury will be exactly this day with Neptune. So, you know, pretty much the 1st and the 2nd, we're going to have the energy of this, which Mercury conjunct Neptune in Pisces. It's like delusional thinking. People are not clear. And don't forget, Neptune rules film, movies, cameras, videos. People can be out of their minds with what they're viewing on the internet or what they're watching on videos or movies or TV. Be aware, things are just crazy. It's not realistic. Neptune is illusion. But at the same time, because Neptune is out of this world and it rules camera, films, movies, it would be a great day, and it's a Sunday here in Central Standard Time, be a great day to go to the movies, to relax. Like I said, just don't plan anything new during this time. Take the time to just relax. It is a great time for spiritual development. Let me say that. And Neptune is said to be spiritual, out of this world, things that are occurring and happening. So it is a time for you to take care of yourself, and just, you know, use your imagination, daydream, relax, but stay away from people that are trying to convince you of things that you know are not true. This is going on heavily. The propaganda around the world is intense because Neptune is all about deception, deceit, denial, and secrets. And it can definitely deal with scandals and conspiracy theories. Just take it with a grain of salt, what you're hearing. Please don't make any decisions over anything you're hearing, because we are being fed with deception. And there is a lot of disease and sickness going on. And Neptune does rule the oceans and the seas, so weather, severe storms, things like that are just cropping up this whole first week of March. And the moon today will be, for the most part, in the nakshatra called Revati. And Revati is a very positive, uplifting nakshatra. It's ruled by the god Pushan, which is the god of travels. So actually, they say when the moon is in Revati, it's a good time to travel. But Mercury is with Neptune, so there's fog and people can't see things clearly. I say just take it easy unless you have to travel. It's fine, but still, I say take it easy because there is too much that cannot be seen under the surface, like a fog that's surrounding the world, lots of fog. And I think that fog can deal with that there is a level of people getting sick around the world. There's something in the air and there's probably something in the water. Because don't forget, Pisces does deal with the oceans, the water, the seas, anything to do with liquids. That's what I see going on here. Now, let us go to, even on March 2nd, I notice that the sun is exactly squaring Jupiter. And actually, that's a hard aspect, but it's connecting the sun and Jupiter, which means it can be a time of optimism, but don't go overboard because we tend to be unrealistic with this Mercury-Neptune. But it is a time for optimism, to be positive, and to possibly, if you're going to start new things, around the first week, like I said, is the best time. And this is a strong, powerful aspect with Sun that will give you encouragement, give you confidence, and the power to move forward and be confident about who you are and what you're doing. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the next day, which is March 3rd. And March 3rd, I love the 3-3, you know, threes are the numbers of creativity and talent. So this is a good day just based on, it is a 3, March, 3rd month, 3rd day. But looking at this, the moon has gone into Aries today, and it will be in the nakshatra called Ashwini. Ashwini is about travels and quick travels. So this could be a day, even though I see all sorts of other things going on, that you can go places, get things done, do things quickly. The moon is where Jupiter is second from the moon right now. And Jupiter being second from the moon, it is a good day for financial matters, for investments and money. But still, be realistic. This whole month I'm saying be careful, be realistic, because I am seeing Neptune influencing Mercury and Venus being retrograde, but it's a good day to make plans financially. I'm looking at Venus and Mercury and all these planets being 12 from the moon. So this is a time to finish up things, get things done, and move forward. So this is good. And Mars is still in Gemini, and the whole time Mars is in Gemini, it will cause problems going on throughout this half of this month, dealing with travel and dealing with communications. So there is a lot to be said about this day. But let's move forward to March 4th. And looking at March 4th, we still have the moon in Aries, and it is in the nakshatra called Bharani. Bharani deals with new beginnings, fresh starts, breakthroughs. So you might find that this is a day that you have some incredible ideas and breakthroughs to come about. And looking at this also with Bharani, it's going to come together with planet Uranus. Uranus is sudden, unexpected changes. So this is kind of a day of openings and beginnings and breakthroughs, I want to say. That's the most important thing. But with these planets being 12th from the moon, we are finishing up, bringing things to completion, and we do have Neptune with Rahu this whole month. So this whole month is a month where things are not as they appear. There's some deception, deceit, corruption that's brewing underneath. There is something brewing underneath the surface. Realize this. This whole month, while we have Rahu and Neptune so tightly together, this is intense. We're uncovering a lot of things that are definitely stirring things up. And as things get stirred up, oh my God, a lot of people are angry. Mars being in Gemini tells me that. There is some massively angry people in the world. So lay low, take it easy at this time. Now let's move to March 5th, because we were just talking about the 4th with the moon being pretty much the whole day in Bharani. And on the March 5th, we have the moon go into Taurus. And I want you to know that Wednesday, March 5th, as well as Thursday, March 6th, are the best days of the whole month to do things. It is absolutely the best. The moon will be with Jupiter. I'm talking about March 5th right now. And they are in the nakshatra Rohini. This is the best nakshatra the moon can be in. And so if you're planning days to get things done, meetings or trips or anything that you want to accomplish, this is the best day, because the moon is in its best nakshatra, and the moon is exalted, meaning its best sign that it can be in when it's in Taurus, and it's influenced by Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet, the great benefic that brings good to the world. And when I look at where the Venus, Mercury, Rahu, Neptune are, they go to the 11th house from the moon. And this is very good, because the 11th house is the house of great gains, coming together with people, friends, groups, and organizations. And to have Venus exalted with Mercury there, it's a great day for planning meetings. If you're invited to any social events, go. You will meet new people. It is a great day for this. And Mars being in the 2nd house from the moon, there's a lot of communications, a lot of things moving forward, but be careful. Be careful when you speak. Don't just blurt out anything that comes to your mind, because Mars in the 2nd house of speech can represent saying things you didn't want to say. So be conscious of this. Just be conscious. Now, the Sun and Saturn are in the 10th house from the moon. Remember, I always use the moon. We don't have a chart to look at, so we gauge everything from the moon. And so the Saturn Sun being 10th from the moon means great things in the workplace get accomplished. And hard work, and there's a good, even around the world, good things are progressing and happening with this. It's like hard work is paying off. Things are coming together. I love this as a day to get things done. Now let's talk about Thursday, which is March 6th. I'm looking at the moon is still in Taurus. So this is a great blessing. It's already crossed over Jupiter early on in the morning time on March 6th. And the moon is now in the nakshatra called Mrigashira. Mrigashira is ruled by Mars, and it means the search, the journey. The people are searching and finding things. This is not a bad thing at all, but it puts Mars more powerfully, because Mars does rule this nakshatra. So with Mars being in Gemini, 2nd from the moon, once again, be very careful of what you're saying. Be cognizant and aware that you have to put your words out nicely. Otherwise, you're going to say things you regret. So that's one thing to be aware of. But it's also a great day for social events because still we have the Venus Mercury in the 11th house from the moon. And this can mean great gains, good things happening, but most of all, meeting new people, new friends, new associates. And of course, the work ethic and business works out today. So March 5th and March 6th are the very best days to get things done in the entire month of March. Now let's go to March 7th, Friday. The moon will have moved into Gemini and it's approaching Mars, but the moon in Gemini is where people want to communicate, where people talk more, people get out there, they want to connect to other people. But be careful because people will be on edge as the moon is approaching in the same sign as Mars. So people are a little edgy. But the moon is in the nakshatra called Ardra. And Ardra's symbol is a teardrop. There's something about sadness whenever the moon does go into Ardra. And Ardra is the storm god, ruled by Rudra, the howling winds. So many times when the moon is in this nakshatra, and it's in this nakshatra once a month, so we don't have like ferocious storms every single month because the moon goes through the whole zodiac every month. But with Mars, we might have a predominance of problems with travel, as well as with storms and severe weather. So the weather is changing and things are really being sort of like coming to a culmination. Things are being stirred up. That's what I'm trying to say. But with the Venus, Mercury, and Rahu in the 10th house from the moon, this is a time where business will prevail, things will get done, people are moving forward, this is good. And the Saturn and the Sun on this day are in the 9th house from the moon. So this is a time of spiritual understanding, looking deep within, and working on ourselves. Now, on this day, we also have Jupiter 12th from the moon. So I do want you to pay attention to your intuition, psychic ability, and your dreams. And this is a time of healing. Any issues that you might have felt are a problem from your past. Okay, so that pretty much covers the first week of March. And like I said, the first week is the time to get things done because once we start getting close to the lunar eclipse, which is the full moon that happens this month, and the solar eclipse that happens at the end of the month, things are going to start getting shaky. So be wary, get things done. But there's one thing I want to tell you before I close. On this day of March 7th is the day of the Cosmic Patterns Astrology Conference that's being held in Orlando. And I'm going to be teaching there. So I hope to meet some of you. Come and meet me at this conference. I'm going to be speaking on Sunday, March 9th there. And I'm going to be talking about my new book and my future predictions for the year of 2025. So come meet me. I'd love to meet you. Yes, things are crazy this month. Why do astrologers have conferences the months of eclipses? I don't know, but it's all going to be okay. So with that, I think I'll close. I will see you soon to talk about the second week of March. Thank you.